Hello friends! Welcome back to Health Highlights, where I spend the time learning about all things health and bring you the highlights. Today I am bringing highlights from Dr. Gundry's video about sugar and how it destroys your health. He explains things well and gives great sugar substitute options. I'll put a link to his video in the description bar if you're interested in watching it. Let's get started. In general, most people have made the connection between sugar consumption and obesity, but most people don't know the effect sugar has on our gut microbiome. Part of the gut microbiome loves sugar. This is the bad bacteria and some fungal species. They thrive on sugar. Other good bacteria don't do well with simple sugars. They like complex sugar molecules, or fiber. It is very hard for us to break apart, but are easy for these gut bacteria to ferment. These good bacteria eat the fiber and produce beneficial products for our bodies to use and be healthy. Hippocrates and Dr. Stephen Gundry say all disease begins in the gut. This can be more serious by adding more sugar to your gut. During World War II rationing, sugar and flour were rationed to support our troops. Because of this, diabetes and heart disease plummeted around the world. Anytime you grind up into a fine powder like wheat, you produce sugar molecules that are more quickly absorbed than table sugar. White bread has a glycemic index of 100, which is higher than sucrose or table sugar. When patients say they don't eat sugar, but they eat bread, Dr. Gundry assures them there are 4 teaspoons of sugar in each slice of bread. When you eat a sandwich, you are eating 8 teaspoons without even thinking about it. Sugar takes a huge toll on the immune system. Any sugar consumption, including drinking a glass of orange juice, suppresses your white blood cell function, their ability to eat bacteria and viruses, by 70% for up to 6 hours after you ingested it. Whether it's orange juice, bread, or pastry, all of it affects the white blood cell function. Most cholesterol is manufactured in your body, and most elevated cholesterol comes from sugar consumption. Sugar is converted into the first form of fat, which is triglycerides. Triglycerides in turn are carried by cholesterol. So the more sugar you eat, the more triglycerides you make, the higher your cholesterol goes. Many studies show it is your triglyceride level that has the biggest impact on you and your heart in terms of you developing coronary artery disease. Dr. Gundry wants his patients' triglycerides to be between 40 to 50. The national standard says 150 is normal. Dr. Gundry states that the national standard was put there so that if your triglycerides were at 150, your doctor would have to put you on a statin to lower your cholesterol. It's like, oh, 150 level of triglycerides are normal. I guess I need statin drugs because my cholesterol is so high. Dr. Gundry's patients are shocked when they lower their triglycerides when removing fruits and sugars and other sources of sugar from their diet, and their cholesterol plummets just by getting rid of the sugar in their diet. As discussed in my previous video, what is so bad about sugar? Sugar is highly addictive. Studies on rats show rats will chew sugar over both heroin and cocaine if they get the opportunity to press a lever. Sugar is very addictive and hard to get off of. It is hard because our tongue has sweet receptors on over 2/3 of the surface. It is looking for sweetness. Why? Because we evolved from great apes. Great apes only gained weight during fruit season, and fruit season only occurred once per year, usually late summer or early fall. Even in the jungle, fruit does not ripen year-round. There are always dry seasons or rainy seasons or cold seasons when fruit wouldn't grow. Advantages exist for us to have sweet receptors that make us want to eat sweet things that have sugar content. That sugar content was fructose, which still spikes blood glucose levels. Fruit is just another form of sugar. We need to get rid of sugar. Sugar is hiding everywhere, so we have to look at the labels. There are lots of sugar disguises, like brown rice syrup, glucose, fructose, and agave. These are all words for sugar. Food labels were manipulated to hide the sugar content. This was done from the direction of big agriculture. There is a trick for decoding food labels. Most people look at the grams of sugar on the label. This may be low on many products, but you have to look at the serving size and total carbohydrates. Total carbohydrates tell you how much sugar is in that portion. Take away fiber, the next line below the total carbohydrates, and that will tell you how many grams of sugar are in that serving size. 4 grams of carbohydrates are in 1 teaspoon of sugar. Take whatever number you arrive at by subtracting fiber from total carbohydrates and divide by 4. This will tell you how many teaspoons of sugar are in that product. You will be shocked, even in foods that don't taste sweet. Once sugar is out of the diet, triglycerides plummet, insulin plummets, prediabetes or diabetes goes away, and bonus, cholesterol numbers plummet and good cholesterol raises. It's a win-win-win. Dr. Gundry says, give fruit the boot. Fruit has been hybridized and genetically modified to have more and more sugar content and to be bigger and bigger than ever before. We also now have fruit available 365 days per year. Your genetic engineering cannot imagine that a 747 could bring blueberries to Costco in January from Chile. There are no blueberries in January. There are in Chile, but we don't live in Chile. Why are we eating blueberries in January? And now they're the size of grapes and bred for sugar content. Dr. Gundry suggests that if you want the benefits of fruit, like the fiber and polyphenols, reverse juice it. Keep the pulp, throw the juice away, and eat the pulp. He repeats, throw the juice away or give it to your worst enemy. It is pure sugar. Retreat from sweet. Many of our foods don't taste sweet, but the sugar is there. Be sure to read the labels. Giving up sweet taste is incredibly difficult. Sugar alternatives can help. Get the right sweeteners that won't do you in. For years we have been consuming artificial sweeteners that have been deadly to us. Saccharin, aspartame, sucralose, they are poison, also known as sweet and low, equal, and Splenda. Duke University did a study from 2007 that showed 1 packet of Splenda will kill off 50% of your microbiome, usually killing off good bacteria. Also, beware of all of those keto bars. Many are sweetened with sucralose or Splenda, which will kill off your microbiome. Another problem with non-nutritive sweetener is your brain does not know if the sweet signal came from a fake sugar or a real sugar. Your brain assumes when you eat something sweet, you are eating real sugar. It doesn't know better. When sugar doesn't arrive in your brain literally says, wait a minute, no sugar came. Go back and get some more, driving you to consume more food or drink. Natural sugars are not better for you. Orange juice, coconut sugar, organic sugar. Sugar is sugar. If you have to have honey, have less or a teaspoon a day. Make sure it is local or Manuka honey. That is okay. Sweet alternatives that won't kill you? There are several safe sweeteners, allulose and monk fruit. They will give you the sweet taste without raising your blood sugar and do so while also feeding your gut buddies with prebiotics. In fact, allulose has been granted a prebiotic fiber designation by the FDA. Allulose is a rare sugar that was first discovered in figs. It is a natural sugar with no caloric value, but really sweet, and it has fiber. Allulose works well in baking recipes and ice cream recipes. It is now Dr. Gundry's go-to sweetener. Make sure to look for non-GMO allulose. Most is produced from corn, but does not have any corn lectins or corn proteins. But look for non-GMO. The Canto brand of monk fruit sweetener is good. Also, you can find several chocolates sweetened with monk fruit, but some of these are really expensive for now. Inulin is another safe sweet alternative. Inulin is sugar in chicory. It is probably the best prebiotic there is. Just like sugar is a great product, but wherever you see inulin, that is a good alternative. It can be bought in bulk. It has a sweet flavor, but not an overwhelmingly sweet flavor, so you have to use a lot of inulin if you are using it purely as a sweetener. Inulin also gives you a great prebiotic fiber at the same time. Stevia is a natural, non-caloric sweetener which has some bitterness that has to be hidden. Sweet Leaf brand is Dr. Gundry's favorite. It is stevia blended with inulin. It is worth noting that a couple papers suggest that even stevia raises insulin levels. Be careful because you do not want to raise insulin levels. How about sugar alcohols? Erythritol and xylitol are two sugar alcohols that are fine to ingest, as long as you can tolerate them. They can cause digestive upset like gas, bloating, or diarrhea. It just depends on the individual's tolerance of these. Everyone is different. Xylitol originally came from the birch tree, but now there are lots of other forms. Xylitol is interesting because it is an antibacterial for the mouth, which might not be as good as it sounds. We have to be careful with all of these. Dr. Gundry is not a fan of Yakan syrup. A number of Dr. Gundry's patients that use Yakan syrup see their triglycerides kick up, and some have become pre-diabetic. Yakan syrup doesn't have lectins in it, and it may be a form of inulin, but this doesn't mean you should just go crazy with these. These syrups can be found in Walmart and on Amazon, but now there are just far better options for you. Reminder that when using ground up flours of any kind as a wheat flour replacement, and that goes for almond flour and tapioca flour, be careful that you're substituting one form of hidden sugar for another form of hidden sugar. It may not taste sweet, but the sugar is still there. What about cricket flour for a wheat replacement? Dr. Gundry has used it. He isn't a big fan of it, but says it is an underutilized resource. Crickets are a great source of a lectin-binding sugar molecule called chitosan. Chitosan is also present in shellfish, but most people with a shellfish allergy don't react to cricket flour. It is a great source of protein, and crickets will eat anything and can be built rapidly. This may be a good alternative source for animal protein. We'll have to keep our eyes on this product. Dr. Gundry provided some great information on sugar, labels, and sugar alternatives. If you are interested in learning more, you can read his book, The Plant Paradox, that provides a great starting point for creating health. Dr. Benjamin Bickman also has a great book about the effects of sugar on your health, titled Why We Get Sick. I will include a link to both of these in the description bar if you are interested in checking them out. Thank you for joining me on our health journey together. Let me know what health improvements you've experienced limiting sugar and what your favorite sugar alternatives are. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any other health highlights. Until next time, here's to health.